Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, and this is your girl, Miss Bev, with yet another video. So today, let me just say thank you for all of you. Just thanking God for all of you, for all of my returning family who have been so totally awesome. Thank you for your support. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for leaving your comments. And thank you guys for all the support you have given. Some of you give some good ideas. I get emails on the back end. And I am just thankful, guys, for all the support. Thanks to all of the new people who are coming in. Thank you so much, and welcome to the MVP family. Before I start talking about what I need to talk about today, today I'm just going to veer off a little bit, and I'm just going to give us some upliftment. Just some upliftment. But before I get into that, I want to say to the returning residents who, you know, I know we're coming home, and one of the things I so happened to just happen on a beautiful channel, and as she was doing her video, she was walking down a hill or something, and she slid and fell because the terrain wasn't so awesome. And you know, we laughed it off. I laughed at it. She sat up and laughed at it. But then, you know, it kept coming back to my mind, like, as we are retiring people, we're not teenagers anymore. We are now on the other side of the hill, going down the hill. And guys, I'm just saying, as you get ready to come home, sometimes it is nice when some property is left for you, but please just think and remember that we're not young anymore. We're not young anymore. And so, like I said, my grandmother, she left 16 acres of land that is just sitting there, because it was not the easiest terrain. And personally, I remembered when I went there, was like 32, and believe me, I was on my hands and knees going down that hill. My hands and knees. I couldn't handle it. In my young days, I was running when I got to Uncle Charlie, and past Uncle Charlie going down. We had a hill to go down. We get in the valley, and then you shoot up the hill, and Granny was on the other hill. And so you get past Uncle Charlie, and as you get there, you start running down it's not easy terrain, you know, stones and all of that. It was rocky terrain, but Granny had made it so from up that space to come down and then to go up, our space was a little bit wider. Granny had it widened out. And so you run from up there, and you get down you come down with such speed that as you get down in the valley, the speed took me right up. We had a sweetwood tree, and the speed that I sped off that hill on, that speed took me right up the hill past the sweetwood tree to go up and make the little turn to go up into the yard. But at 30-something years old, I couldn't do that anymore. I could barely walk down the hill. Going up the other hill wasn't bad, but going down the hill, I was down on my behind, literally trying to go down that hill. And so I say, let us think, guys. You know, we're saying, oh, I don't need to buy property because I have property, or my mom left me property, or my dad, or my family. But can we just make sure that our lives doesn't become more hectic? Can we make sure that our lives become, you know, because we have to think. That is, maybe it's just my problem. Because we're all saying God will provide, and God will make a way, and God will. Sometimes we shouldn't put ourselves in these bad positions where we're talking about God will make a way. When we put ourselves in some unnecessary difficulties, we are making it difficult for others as well. So please, guys, people talk against the gated community and they talk against this, they talk against that. But as you get older, you're coming home. You're coming from developed countries where everything is right there. You could get a taxi, drop you at your gate. You could walk a couple blocks, you get on a bus, you get on a train. And so the provisions are there that if something goes wrong, that somebody will be able to get to you. But when we put ourselves in these places, talk about we're coming home to live off the grid, and we have these unrealistic things with a country that is developing, it's not fully developed or will never be considered as developed. We know that on the outer banks where it is hard to even, if there's an emergency for people to get to us, guys, let us think before we make these decisions. And, yeah, we might save all this money for not paying for this and paying for that. But they always say you save it in this something and it leaks out through the bung. You're trying to save it and have more to live off and have more money in the bank. At the end of the day, you end up losing so much because of the decisions we make. So I'm just saying, yeah, we might get some debt left property and it's easy to say I don't have to pay this and pay that. And, but guys, remember, when sickness comes, somebody have to get you from that hill or get you from that space. When my father passed away, I was only 2 years old. And when they brought his body was buried up my granny's house. And when the men were carrying him, they had to walk. They couldn't walk side by side because the donkey paths were not wide enough to accommodate two people to carry his box on their shoulders. So they have to put it and walk one behind the other with the box on their shoulders there. It wasn't easy. And so I said, Granny, when after I left there that visit, I wanted my children to see where I grew up, and they had a ball. Mind you, they were young and they could manage it, but I couldn't anymore. And it's just to say your body gets used to, not climbing hills. You're not even walking so much. The most I would walk is 10 blocks at the time, because you had transportation to get you around. So going back home with that limited whatever, it wasn't easy to manage that rough space. But Granny finally left. I said, Granny, you cannot manage this by yourself over in here in these bushes. You have to, because we had a neighbor who lived across from the house, from us. They had abandoned their house and had moved out into the main area. And Granny was left up on that hill. And so I said, Granny, you cannot stay in here by yourself. You're gonna leave. And so my aunt took her to live with her and where she lived, which was right there. If she got sick, there were vehicles, so they could hire something to come get her to the hospital, which, thank God, Granny wasn't a sickly person who needed hospital care. She died at home at 96 years old. So I'm just saying to us, guys, it's none of my business, but I'm just saying sometimes we don't think of it because we're not really thinking of tomorrow. As we said, let tomorrow take care of itself. But for me personally, as I always say, yes, tomorrow take care of itself, but we need to put some things in place, especially if we're going to be depending on people, because God is not coming down from earth to come do. It's people around us that he will give them that heart to come in and support us where we need support. So guys, don't make it hard for others when we get sick to get us from the hills and the valleys and wherever. Please, just think. Farming, yes, you go in your farm, you come out, because at some point, you're not going to be going in there to do it. But if we can get somewhere where people can have good access, where the pastors can come and pray and dwell with us, where the church members can come, stop by and talk with us, if the darkest members in the church can come and stop by and wash something for us or iron something for us or clean up our little homes when we're not able to. It makes sense. Not everyone anymore wants to go into the woodlands and all of that. So as you plan and you build and you capture lands and you do all these things, guys, just think of how it will be. What will it be like for those left behind who will have to care for us? Once a man, twice a child. We are getting back to the place where somebody has to care for us. I didn't say it. That's what the Bible says. So we're not going to be strong every day. We're not. It's a process. And so as we, as I said, we have so much land up in St. Elizabeth. I am not in St. Elizabeth. I'm retired. I'm not going up there to go stress my life out for mosquitoes to bite me to the bones. And then what? Then what? How much resources are they going to be pumping in that space? Not much. Current gone, you're going to wait for days. You're not going to be on the forefront to say, oh yeah, 100 people live up in there, we need to go get. No, they're looking for density, right? Where more people are contributing to, they're collecting more light bill from, then they're going to target those areas to fix them quickly. They're not going to run into places where 100 people live and 40 of them stealing current and 30 of them paying light bill that doesn't amount to much because they're still roasting the breadfruit and the cold pot outside and they're locking up as soon as it gets whatever, then they go to bed, so they're not collecting much light bill. So we have to understand how the thing runs, and then I'm just saying, guys, I'm not taking over anybody's life or their business, but I'm just saying. So today I really have another video to do. I'm not going to connect it to this because I don't want it to become too long and then you give up. But today I really, really want to just talk quickly about some things that are close to my heart. And that's going to be 5 uplifting Bible verses to lift your spirits whenever you're feeling down or just need a little encouragement. In times like these, we need a lot of encouragement. We really, really need a lot of encouragement. And so, let's wait for the next video.